Hello, all. So, just like I imagine most of you, just heard about the Orlando, Florida shootings, where a man by the name of Omar Mateenz, which I might be pronouncing wrong, but I don't really give a crap, where that man took a gun, went into a nightclub, and shot the place up, and killed like 50 people, and injured more than 50 people, about 53, and tried to take some hostages, and the cops showed up, and he got shot down in the crossfire. It's a very hard news story to read, obviously, just because of the mass scale of it. And also because of the inevitable spins on it that, when you read a story like this, media is going to want to put a spin on it. They're going to say he was a ISIS terrorist, or he was really, really religious, or it's a race thing. Everybody from his race is bad because terrorists, or he was insane. Like, if he's a white guy, that's the one you're getting. He was insane. But they're all media spins. They're all completely untrue BS media spins. We all know why he did it. We all know why he grabbed a gun and why he killed some people. Killed a lot of people. It was a hate crime. The nightclub was gay. They had drag queens. It was very sociable. He hated queers. And he decided to kill queers. So he got a gun and went into a nightclub and he killed a whole lot of queers. And the health system in that part of the U.S. is so messed up that when you allow other queers to donate blood to save said queers that got shot. But the media, news, they don't like talking about homophobia. They don't like talking about queerphobia. They want it to go away. So they will do their little spin and blame it on something else. But I obviously don't want that to happen because it's dishonest and it's just wrong. Donald Trump, of course, once again going out of his way to prove why he shouldn't be the president, was, of course, one of the very first guys to try and do the media spin, because he's a heartless little prick. And his reaction, his tweet to the whole incident was, "I was right. Islam terrorists did attack. I was right. My bigotry was justified." I'm exaggerating the words a little bit, but not very much. Not much at all. Basically proclaimed that he was right and that this was a congratulation, and he patted himself back. He patted himself on the back for being a bit of a bigot. He's a dick. I can't believe someone would actually say, "I congratulate myself for being right," in the face of 50 dead bodies. In the face of countless different families all wondering how they're going to make it through the next day. And there he is, just patting himself on the back. I wish somebody would just punch that dude. I know that might get me kicked out of the U.S. if he does become president. There's your freedom of speech for you. But by God, how heartless do you have to be to actually say something like that? And there was a preacher who went into a long rant about how the gays had this coming, and how they shouldn't have been killed by a shooter, but they should have been executed. Of course, everybody's trying to do their own little spins, but I know the truth, I know that was a hate crime against queers. And I know that Donald Trump and the preacher and everyone else doing their own little media spins aren't really helping out the queer community, and they're kind of jerk-offs if they want to spread the blame around and not actually look at the actual problems. Anyone that wants to take this as a moment to attack another random group, like a random race or something like that, instead of actually talking about how queer people are forced into mass suicides by society or shot down for whatever reason, like next to every day, anybody that wants to take this topic and say whatever they want to say with it and try to do whatever media spin they want, they're horrible. No, this was a hate crime, pure and simple, and there's been a lot of them. And every now and then, one happens, and you think, oh, this is going to shock the world enough that we finally start doing something. This is going to shock the world enough. A while back, it was a trans person killed themselves, Lila Alcorn, and that was so shocking that I thought, oh, we're finally going to start doing more stuff to help out people. Nothing really happened. And now, again, we have a significant event. And the question comes, will we actually do anything? And I tell you what we got to do. We got to stop passing the buck. Because that's what we keep doing. Anytime a homophobic crime happens, or a race crime, or a gender crime, or anything, we pass the buck. And we say the guy was insane, or it was something else. We'll never know why the person did. We know why they did it. We know why they did it. And we have to start actually responding and stop passing the buck. So, if you're one of the people passing the buck, if you're one of the people who uses gay as an insult, if you're one of the people that was against gay marriage, if you're one of the people that ignores someone's gender when they write out, tell you what their gender is, if you're one of those people that is actually concerned about who's being let into bathrooms, you are creating the world that gave birth to this man that got a gun and went to a nightclub and killed 50 people. That man was so disconnected from people who were queer that he saw us as dirt, and he didn't care if we lived or died. He saw us as objects, as nothing, as crap. And he was able to see us that way because he was born into a world that gave little indications here and there that mind frame might be okay. And if you add to that mind frame, you're just making more of these guys. People disassociate themselves with queer because they're not shown that much. They're not shown as people. Like, we're too scared to put them in our kids' media. Oh no, they might brainwash our kids. But we actually showed them off and gave us more of a voice. Maybe these evil people would start seeing other people as people. Now, chances are that wouldn't happen because this guy was clearly just wanted to kill people. But at the very least, if that did happen, maybe you would be able to donate blood to save someone's life so they don't bleed to death. And you'd be able to get better support systems and a government that actually gave a darn about you. Those are pretty important changes too, you know. So yeah, I've read a lot of news on it already, and I have read a few media spins, and it's disheartening. So I just want to state that. I wanted to state that we shouldn't pass the buck. We should admit that we've helped to create a world that made this man, that made this killer. And we have to stop adding to that world. If you ever used gay as an insult, it is kind of your job to make up for that crap and start helping out in any way that you can. And I guess if you are straight, maybe if you aren't queer and they won't get mad at you for it, maybe you should donate some blood. In Orlando, Florida, I hear it's quite busy at the hospital right now, but I'm sure they could use it. So anyways, I just wanted to say all that. I know I could never properly express how hurt some people are right now. And I like it, I'm sure the hurt goes so deep, you're not even sure if you can make it. How can anyone make it? And the government backing you up won't save the day, but at least it'll be one less headache. So I just remember, if you read a news story about a mass shooting and queers got shot, or a different race got shot, or a different gender got shot, or whatever, it wasn't because the guy was insane, or it wasn't because it was his religion that made him do it. Unless he was like heavily brainwashed. It was most likely a hate crime. And we gotta start calling hate crimes, and we gotta stop passing the buck. Or else this is just going to get a lot worse before it gets a lot better. People have been saying this might be one of the biggest mass shootings of all time. It might even end up in the Guinness Book of World Records. But if we keep passing the buck, it's not going to be there for very long. I just hope everyone that is impacted by this gets at least a little bit of help. That's the best I can hope for. Take care.